Aquí es donde inicia la historia.
This is where the history of Panama's national parks begins. Altos de Campana Biological Reserve National Park. It was created on June 28, 1966, as a place for environmental education
De conservación.
and conservation. That was the reason for the creation of this area. Its proximity to Panama City, its great scenic beauty,
Gran belleza escénica.
the mountains of volcanic origin can be seen around me, which comes from the extinct volcano of the Anton Valley.
Del Valle de Antón. Contamos con un clima.
We have a very pleasant climate that ranges between 18 to 21 degrees Celsius in the highest parts.
En algunos momentos hasta 18 grados centígrados en estas áreas, en las partes más altas. Nos encontramos en la provincia.
We are located in the province of West Panama, which are the districts of Capira and Chame,
Con un territorio de
with a territory of 4,
hectáreas que comprende todo el Parque Nacional Reserva Biológica Altos de Campana. Se puede decir que
we can say that 35% of the park's territory is in the area of the Panama Canal basin.
Canal de Panamá. En este sector es el sector sur.
In this sector is the southern sector. The sector of the Pacific area and the northern sector is the area of the canal basin, with the purpose of creating the protected area.
Para crear esta área protegida es muy importante ver el tema.
Is very important to see the issue of conservation of water resources.
Es un parque donde el tema de agua
It is a park where the theme of water and biodiversity is very important.
nace en las cabeceras de los ríos Sajalice,
From this point are born the headwaters of Sahalices, Chame, Bedequet, Capira rivers.
de las comunidades.
Their waters are widely used as drinking water for agriculture, especially for the biodiversity that completes all these forests of Campana National Park.
Estos bosques del Parque Nacional de Campana. El agua también hace un tema.
The water also makes a very important issue to be combined with the salt water in the Bay of Chame, where we have another protected area that are the mangroves of Chame.
En este punto que estamos aquí,
From this point, we can see some very important attractions. To my back is the Cerro Campana.
el Cerro Campana es el punto más alto
Which is the highest point of the park, since it has a height for 1,007 meters high. At this point of the Mirador Casa Agua, we are about 860 meters. It is a fairly high distance, where basically that sector of Cerro Campana is an area of absolute protection.
absoluta. Cuando hablamos de protección absoluta,
When we talk about absolute protection, is an area that can only be used for scientific studies or for tours of the park rangers or administration officials in the area.
y científicos
More than anything to protect the forest area, the springs of some streams, springs of water in that sector.
territorio, el área de los bosques, nacimientos de algunas quebradas, nacimientos de ojos de agua en ese sector. Más abajo nos encontramos a mi mano derecha el Cerro La Cruz.
Further down, we find on my right-hand side the Cerro La Cruz, where you can practice hiking.
El tema ecoturístico del parque
Is a hill where we work with ecotourism. It is the most visited area with a height of 960 meters, with a tour of approximately 2 hours.
arriba, una hora hacia abajo, unos 2 kilómetros,
1 hour
rodeados
going
de
up
bosque,
and another
bosque
going
húmedo
down. 2
tropical,
kilometers, which
y
show
donde
a
podrán
clean
ver una
environment, which
biodiversidad
is a pristine place
maravillosa de
and is
especies
very
de
used by hikers
epífitas,
for the theme of
orquídeas,
adventure and physical
básicamente
demands.
muchos musgos, helechos, que dan cuenta del lugar, del ambiente limpio. Al frente, como mencionaba, origen volcánico.
To the front, as I mentioned, volcanic origin, the mountains that you can observe with steep slopes, the forests that are characterized in those points are the gallery forest or river forest.
¿Por qué le dicen bosques de galería o bosques ribereños? Estos bosques que vienen a proteger.
They are called this way because they are forests that come to protect water sources in this zone that is very clayey.
Hay poca para el tema agrícola.
It is an area where agriculture is not worked. As you can observe, there are not many forests in that zone, but they are used for the scenic beauty and they conserve some water sources.
Conservan algunos ojos de agua. Importante señalar que desde aquí
It is important to point out that from here we say the heart of the park, the viewpoint, because about 5,000 people a year visit this viewpoint to observe the scenic beauty, to have contact with nature, the cool climate that we have, and to observe very important points such as the Bay of Chame, chain mangroves. At some times you can see the islands and also ships that will pass through the Panama Canal.
barcos que van a pasar por el canal de Panamá. O sea que desde este punto.
From this point, it is important that tourists is an environmental issue.
En este momento nos encontramos en las áreas de senderos.
At this moment, we are in the areas of trails of the National Park and Biological Reserve Altos de Campana. These are one of the activities offered by the protected area in what is ecotourism, the activity of hiking. In the National Park Biological Reserve Alto de Campana, we have 4 trails at present: the La Cruz Trail, Panama Trail, Podocarpus Trail, and Zamora Trail.
Sendero La Cruz, que es el sendero más utilizado en el área.
The La Cruz Trail, which is the most used trail in the area, is a 2-kilometer trail, 1 hour up, 1 hour down. Biodiversity of mosses, ferns, epiphytes, and orchids in the heights.
Sendero Panamá, que es el sendero que nos encontramos.
Panama Trail, where we are, it is a journey of 1.4 kilometers, which is this blue that is here.
Es un sendero.
It is a trail of easy access for the whole family, children, adults, where you'll be walking more or less 45 minutes within the tropical forest.
Bosque húmedo tropical que con facilidad o
within the tropical rainforest, that if we are lucky enough, we can see some kind of biodiversity such as species of sloths, marmoset monkeys,
ñeques, mariposas,
ñeques, butterflies, which are the most characteristic species that we can observe on the trail. This forest is very important since it collects water in different ways.
Bosque que recoge mucha agua de diferentes formas, tanto sus árboles, el suelo,
both in trees, the soil, and distributes it in different ways to all areas, the community, the rivers. It is very important that we know in these trails the biodiversity and the importance of the protected area.
Biodiversidad o por qué es la importancia de que cuidamos nosotros acá en el área protegida. El Sendero Panamá es un sendero de fácil acceso.
The Panama Trail is an easily accessible trail that is used by schools and researchers, as well as bird watchers.
Y también observadores de aves. Como pueden escuchar, hay muchos sonidos de aves en el área.
As you can hear, there are many bird sounds in the area that attract bird watchers from different countries to identify these species.
Es un sendero en la cual va a tener un clima agradable.
Is a trail in which you'll have a pleasant climate. In the morning hours, it can go down to 18 degrees, which is a good climate, relatively fresh for what is hiking.
El senderismo. Muchos de lo que informamos acá en el
Many of the national park guides inform our visitors about the conservation of the entire forest.
La importancia que tiene el bosque,
the importance of the forest for the different species of flora and fauna in the area,
en el área y su importancia
and its importance for common human activities around.
Comunes del ser humano alrededor, como son la conservación del agua,
the conservation of water for agriculture, domestic use.
Tema de que los árboles nos proveen medicinas.
The biodiversity of flora that we find in Panama Trail.
Debemos conservar todas estas especies.
There is a plant that is very striking, which characterizes the tropical rainforest of this area.
Curar alguna enfermedad. Entre la biodiversidad de flora que encontramos en el Sendero Panamá,
We have the Selaginella plant.
características de este bosque húmedo tropical del área, tenemos la planta celaginea. La celaginea
Is related to the ferns, has a bluish color that is very striking for visitors.
que es muy llamativa para los visitantes. Cuando los rayos del sol
When the sun's rays fall on it.
tiene un color azulado y como pueden ver,
On the blue color comes out, while the place where the sun does not fall mountains its green color.
esta planta recorre casi todo el inicio del Sendero Panamá.
These plants run almost all along the beginning of the Panama Trail, calling much attention to the trail.
En el Sendero Panamá, como podemos ver, esta área
Going along the Panama Trail, as we can see, this area is already more dense forest. The weather is cooler, and here we can be about 21 degrees Celsius. In this area we can see some flowers. As we can see, this red flower
puedes observar
has a very characteristic common name, burning lips, for its red colors,
colores rojos, también le dicen sombrerito del diablo.
also called devil's little hat or red hat.
Podemos de plantas encontrar acá.
These are species of plants that we can find here with their common names.
Entre las especies características de biodiversidad de árboles,
Among the characteristic species of biodiversity of trees, we have here on the trails the Podocarpus tree. It is the only conifer of Panama.
el árbol Podocarpus que encontramos en estas áreas del parque,
This tree is normally found at 900 meters above sea level.
de altura sobre el nivel del mar, es muy característico de esta zona.
It is very characteristic of this area, can grow up to 30-40 meters high. As you can see, this is one of the small Podocarpus we have on the trail. It is very striking because there is also a trail with the name of Podocarpus tree.
De el árbol Podocarpus. Más adelante,
Further on, we are going to observe trees that have grown a little more,
más, y estos árboles tienen
and these trees have an ecological importance in the area. In terms of diversity of food or species that take refuge in it, as they disseminate other fruits, roots.
especies que diseminan otros frutos y otras, lo que son raíces, en otros puntos. Para nosotros es muy importante conservar estos bosques.
For us, it is very important to treasure these forests, take care of the river sources, preserve the flora and the fauna, to protect and conserve everything that is the interaction of the interoceanic canal of Panama. In addition to cultivate environmental education in schools, families, which are around and within the Altos de Campana Biological Reserve National Park.
Es muy importante resaltar que nosotros acá en el Parque Nacional
It is very important to emphasize that here in the park we focus on biodiversity conservation, promoting recreation, ecotourism,
promover la recreación, el ecoturismo, el turismo en toda esta área, promoviendo las comunidades,
starting with the communities in the conservation of ecosystems, and thus be able to generate economic benefits, seeing the care of the environment.
viendo el cuidado del ambiente.
Mi nombre es Gabriel Espinosa, residente aquí en el Limón de Campana, Capira.
My name is Gabriel Espinosa, resident of Limón de Campana, Capira. I have been a floriculturist for about 30 years.
Me dedico a las plantas.
I settled in Limón de Campana.
Me vine aquí. Aquí tuve mi familia.
I raised my family. Thanks to this work, I gave study to my children who are already professionals.
Pude levantarme, pues sí, y bueno, seguí adelante y tengo ya prácticamente hijos, hijas, son profesionales y bueno, y yo he seguido en mi labor pues de floricultor.
Es muy importante el término de actividades sostenibles.
The term sustainable activities is important, since our main objective is to conserve for future generations.
Futuras, que las generaciones futuras, los niños puedan observar, comprender.
Children can observe, understand all the biodiversity that exists in our country. In Panama,
Puntos en la cual nosotros como
is one of the main points in which we administrators of the protected area
administración, un poco más allá o más con una más visión del tema,
promote these conservation activities. A little further with a mission of economic activities. Also the people of the communities of the protected areas or peasant communities can benefit from environmental conservation in a sustainable way,
utilizar lo que nos brinda la naturaleza,
using what nature gives us for environmental economic benefits.
un tipo sostenible de actividades.
El inicio fue bastante difícil para nosotros. Nosotros comenzamos prácticamente con el...
At the beginning, it was quite difficult for us. We started practically with the Ministry of Agricultural Development, MIDA. They trained us on how to plant the plant.
El uso de... Primero antes se usaban bolsitas así de cualquier cosa, entonces ya comenzaron usamos a usar bolsas negras para potes.
Previously, we used bags in any container, and we started the use of black bags for pots, and then we started to make inroads. Until we got to what we have today, we are grateful to them because they directed us to these sustainable products.
Comestibles tenemos aquí, perejil, y aquí los novios.
Here we can see that we have edible plants such as parsley. The boyfriends also grow very well here in the area.
Van para el vivero, para un proceso.
These are plants in recovery. These plants are taken to the nursery.
Esa, pendientes de la reina.
For a process, queen's earrings, baskets, carnations,
No comestibles, es un ají.
chili bell pepper. This is not edible. It is only an ornamental chili bell pepper.
Las rosas son muy dadas en esta época.
Roses are very popular at this time of the year and also very sought after.
Las dalias. Las veraneras son de la época.
We also have landelias. The veraneras are the season, the petunias. Here we have the chavalita.
Todas son de la variedad, diferentes colores.
They are other plants of different colors.
Aquí todo esto es petunia, todo lo que está aquí. Y acá entonces otra variedad que es toreña.
They are very sought after for this season.
Plantas ya de esta época.
Here, all this is petunia. And here, another variety that is a Taurinia.
Para verano y para invierno hay plantas que se venden.
The sale of plants depends on the weather we are in. Since for summer we have some plants that are sold more, for winter some more.
Se busca mucho lo que son las petunias, las veraneras.
Since for summer we have some plants that are sold more and for winter some more. For example, right now in the dry season, people are looking for petunias, veraneras, carnations, celosia, sun plants. These are the plants that are sold more in the season. When the winter season comes, the rainy season, the plants change. They would be the bride and groom, plants that are of humidity, and so it varies, and it is handled like that. Some are sold more than others. Thank God we have sold a lot of plants. For the time of the pandemic, a lot of plants were sold. People turned to buy plants because they had nothing to do. People created gardens and the sale for us was a success.
La venta de plantas hasta ahora. Vendemos en diferentes lugares, en ferias.
We sell in different places in fairs, at least the Korea fair that happened a few days ago. The event in Atalaya, which is also an event where plants are brought. There are members who participate in Azuero and in different events.
Pero prácticamente las ventas que se dan en mayor cantidad es aquí en el área.
But our biggest sale is here in the area, as people from the capital come to stock up on our flowers to sell them there.
Mencionar que dentro de estas áreas y alrededor hay comunidades.
I can mention that within these areas there are communities such as the community of Limón, Chica in this sector. On the other hand, in the northern sector, there is a community of Chileno and Trinidad.
Cultivo de plantas en este sector.
They are communities that are dedicated to the cultivation of plants, seeing the conservation in this area because of the climate. They are very helpful, and these people, some of them, are environmental volunteers.
Capacitación y el sentido de pertenencia.
They've been trained in the sense of belonging, that these areas are theirs, that they have to conserve them to maintain the ecosystems, the biodiversity of the sector, including the ecotourism component.
Y muy importante que ven que las generaciones futuras,
since future generations will be able to observe what they have protected, the Altos de Campana Biological Reserve National Park as the first national park in Panama.
Trabajamos en conjunto con ellos. Hay muchos temas en el parque.
We are volunteers of the park. We work together for the conservation of the park with the issue of garbage, to make people aware of cleaning a clean park, since many of the people who visit us are not aware of this and throw garbage where it does not belong.
Del grupo de acá de Limón se dirige al parque los fines de semana.
We have also received an incentive from the visitors. For example, the Limón group works on weekends. 2 of my daughters participate in the sale of plants, and they have done very well. We have received a benefit, and in fact, we have established a good friendship between them and us. The park is very important to me because it takes care of the flora and the fauna in the community.
Para mí, la importancia de ese parque en realidad, para mi vida personal, pienso que hablamos de la fauna. Por lo menos yo.
Something I am grateful for every day is the view I have, because I wake up in the mornings and everything I see is beautiful. I am surrounded by nature, and I tell my children,
Mañana pasado, si nosotros no cuidamos lo que tenemos, eso no lo van a ver nuestros nietos. Entonces, por eso.
If we do not take care of what we have, our future generations will not see it. Now, another thing I think is that if we do not take care and protect this, we are hurting our own life.
Y todo pienso que es un beneficio, porque si no cuidamos lo que tenemos, prácticamente estamos destruyendo nuestra propia vida.
By protecting our water sources from where we are going to get water to irrigate our plants, since they are oxygen conductors.
Vamos a regar con qué de dónde vamos a sacar agua, entonces el tema es importante ese tema de. Así que para mí lo que es el tema del parque.
The theme of the park is a fundamental and important part of our subsistence.